Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks, the place where geeks come to geek out. As always, I'm Bowser. Hi guys, welcome. How was your Monday? How was your weekend? How was your week? It's always been a minute because I only get to see you this once a week. Of course, we always see you maybe on a YouTube channel, maybe it's a Cloudscape, maybe it's a City of Mist, maybe it's a past Geek Out Sesh. Because if this is your first Geek Out Sesh, welcome. We do this each and every week, Monday nights, 8:30 Eastern Standard, live on Twitch and on YouTube. That's right. Thanks, Twitch, for releasing those limitations on us. And we meet a brand new geek guest every week, and we talk about amazing things like cosplay, like art, like gaming, or like tonight and last week even, TTRPGs, my favorite thing. Honestly, they're becoming more and more my favorite thing to talk about. The more I am in this world, the more I'm playing these, the more that I am getting exposed, whether it's watching back or participating in our newest endeavor, the RPG project with Let's Get Rollin', where we are highlighting a new RPG every month, and it's an alternative to D&D. So if you are sick of the D&D, maybe you want something a little rules lighter, more narrative, or maybe just more thematic, check that out. You can use Command YouTube to find all of those, or you can always just go to our link tree and find them in the links below if you're watching this back, wherever. We just want to geek out with you. But I am so glad that I'm geeking out with people like Nerdius Maximus and Alec in the chat tonight. So if you're here, let me hear from you. And maybe even some friends of TTRPGkids are going to join us tonight and support them. I'm the Alec, says Alec. Yes. And hey, while you're down there in the chat, use Command QOTD, the question of the day, because today is all about the kiddos, the little ones, those little gremlins chewing on your ankles that maybe you own them, not purchase them like they belong to you. Well, I don't know. I'm painting myself into a corner. They are your children and you're stuck with them. You didn't purchase them. Unless it's an adoption. Wow. I'm just going to insert foot now. Or whether you enjoy kids and you're maybe a teacher or caregiver or babysitter and you love TTRPGs and you are looking for ways to get your kids involved, indoctrinate them early, as I like to say, early and often, then stick around because this is the place that you want to be. We're going to be geeking out in just a little bit with Steph C from TTRPGkids, and she is creating a whole mission to put TTRPGs in the hands of kids because they've got some great benefits, and there's a lot that you can do with them. You can teach with them, and I can't wait to pick their brain, and find out some amazing things that I didn't know about, because there's usually plenty that I don't know about. But also, if you like TTRPGs, then have I got an affiliate link for you. That's right. You know what I'm talking about. It's Minstrel. Use the affiliate link below, or you can use Command Minstrel, and you can pick up some really nice quality handcrafted locally sourced materials like leather and different woods for your dice, because they're not just dice, they're your dice. And when you take care of your dice are going to take care of you. So go find that link and pick yourself up something nice because you deserve it. And we do get a little kickback. So that's a small way that you can not only support yourself, but you can support us over at FGBG. Hey, have you been watching Cloudscape? Anybody? Because if you have been watching Cloudscape, that is our Fate Core campaign. It's our weekly episodic adventure that I am GMing. It's my first time, and I'm falling in love with GMing, let me tell you. But a couple weeks ago, episode 21, you'll find that episode went bye-bye because of the dreaded technical difficulties. This monster that just lives here at FGBG. But I thought I had kind of a creative way to apologize and make up for it. So if you've seen it, let me know. I've been watching the numbers and seeing if we just completely lost our whole audience after that episode, or whether y'all are pushing through. and giving me grace. So let me know in the comments or in the chat. But I'm so glad you guys are here. I am really excited for a game that we have at the end of the stream, because tonight's all about the kids, obviously, and kids doing TTRPGs and DMing. And so the question of the day today is, what's the darndest thing that you've heard a kid say? Because kids just say the darndest things, and if you don't get that reference, then I'm too old. But honestly, one of the darndest things that I heard very recently, as in today, was the moment that I was on the phone with my 7-year-old niece, because I needed her kid brain to help us with our game tonight. Later in the stream, I will be testing our guests tonight to see if they can guess the common D&D term or monster or race or class based on the description from my 7-year-old niece, who's never played D&D before in her life. I might have shown her a picture, or I might have tried to describe what I needed her to describe, which, if you're 7 and you don't know what the word describe means, can be very problematic. But I came out with some pretty cute answers. So stick around and let's see how our guest does against my niece. And you can play along, and maybe you'll get them. Maybe you'll just laugh at my niece and get them way wrong because she didn't know what she's talking about anyway. But thank you, Nerdy Yes Maximus, says Cosby. Thank you. Yes. I'm not the oldest one on the chat. I know you didn't come here just to hang out with me. And if you did, thank you. Guess what? Comes with a bonus. Because I am excited to introduce a new friend of the channel. It's actually somebody that you know her as Britt or Kit from Cloudscape, maybe Oh Shine Brighter from Let's Get Rollin'. She was on a stream a couple weeks ago with not only tonight's guest, but last week's guest, Dennis Fleming from Sagas, the okayest DM. And after that interview and stream with both of them, she immediately shot their names over to me and said, Bozer, you got to get these people on your stream because they're doing some really cool stuff. And we found out last week that is absolutely true with Saga's TTRPG. Have you checked it out? Have you purchased your copy? Because you need to. And I can't wait for that to come true doubly tonight with our guest. So, without any further ado, I would love to introduce the brainchild behind TTRPGkids, the one that's bringing TTRPGs to your family in a very accessible way and giving you everything you need, our new friend, Steph!
Hi.
Hello!
Oh. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. How you doing tonight?
So, doing okay. It was a bit of a busy day. So, kiddo had some winter break. So, was on parent duty with little one running around the house, and everything is shut down for President's Day. So, it was a fun day, but it's going okay.
Yeah, before the stream, we were talking about this. Your state's winter break schedule is asinine to me.
Yes, yeah. It's so there's like the end of year break, and then January is like a whole bunch of snow days. Like we had 5 snow days in January, and then there's a winter break now. There's a day off next week, and then a few weeks after that, it's spring break. I'm like, yeah, it's a little hectic.
So do you guys not break after Christmas and get like that extra week as a winter break?
No, kiddo had the whole week, the first week of the year off.
Does your kid have like 5 days in a school all year? What is
I know,
happening?
that's what I'm like, what? Yeah. I mean, he's happy. We've been hanging out. We've been playing games and stuff like that. So it's all good. It's just also like all over the place with the schedule. So today was one of those days, but it was all good. It was all good. We had fun. So.
Well, thanks for fitting us into your busy schedule and balancing your life and placing us in it. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, this is fun.
Were you and your kiddo playing a little TTRPGs on the winter break?
Yes, so many. There was oh gosh, Heroes and Treasures was one of his favorites. It's like kind of you have these tiles that you place out and run your characters around. It's like very accessible for really young kids. Like you got tokens to track everything, so it's all very tactile.
Okay.
Lots of like small like rules light games, some solo journaling ones where like he dictates and I write it down, and a few others. So we've been having fun with it.
Oh my God, I can't wait to hear more specifics about some recommendations for any families that are looking
Yeah.
for the TTRPGs for their kids. By the way, speaking of OSHA, and she says, hello, I'm doing the lurk thing because stuff, but I'm so glad to get Steph on the show too.
Yeah. Hi. You recommended me, right?
Yes, that is Britt. OSHA.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
No, that's my favorite thing about just living in this space is I don't have to be good or smart about anything. Just all those great people like yourself are either pushed onto me or I blow up your DMs, and those of you that are dumb enough to answer get to hang out with me for a night.
Hey, you're fun. You seem like a fun guy, so had fun so far. It's been a good chat. So, yeah.
Good. We fooled her, guys. She doesn't know. They don't know. Well, for anybody that isn't aware about you and what you do, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do as a geek.
Yeah. So, I run the TTRPGkids website. I'm the only one that does it, so it's kind of been a bit of a hectic experience, but it's been a good one. I write tabletop RPGs. There's a whole bunch of resources on there for educational tabletop RPG use, all kinds of tips for how to run games at home, resources for libraries, all kinds of stuff. Just help get more tabletop RPGs accessible to kids. I kind of going into the geek stuff. I mean, I've always been like a space nerd. I interned
Really?
at NASA. I was a crash test engineer.
Wait, you were burying the lead
engineering.
before stream. You told me about the crash test dummies, but you didn't say it was with NASA.
Well, so the crash test stuff was with Nissan, and then I interned at NASA when I was in college doing
That's so cool.
like some it was all computer, kind of had a crash course in learning to program with that, but yeah, it was fun. So there's like the geeky stuff has been baked in for a while.
From someone who has no idea what this feels like, tell me about your experience having a brain that works like that.
It is noisy and it needs to be quiet sometimes. All over the place. There's too many ideas, and trying to organize that has been a fun mess. But yeah.
So to relax and to quiet your brain, you instead create an entirely new community and a website that you all manage yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
That was
Cool.
That was my hobby that I did in
Good
my
plan.
spare time to relax. Yes. It's been fun.
Well, we'll get all into all the great specifics in a second, but first, I want to know from the question of the day, what is the darndest thing that you've heard a kid say recently?
Okay. So, I was thinking about this since I saw it pop up on here. And today, my kid, so for context, he's been very obsessed with Spider-Man for quite some time.
Smart kid.
Most of the characters he picks for our games have been Spider-Man-esque, kind of, yeah. You got some pictures behind you.
Yeah. It's very blurry, but I got a Miles back there.
Yeah. So
okay, so you love Spider-Man.
This book or like a show that he saw recently, he said you can't get as swole as the Hulk. Otherwise, when you try and swing on your life's webs, they'll break. And I don't know what the message was there, but in his ramblings, I feel like there was something profound that my kid was trying to say.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely like some Play-Doh in him that
yeah,
just poses the
yeah,
question and then lets you find the meaning.
exactly. I don't know what he was trying to say exactly. I feel like he was mashing together like something he heard like my husband and I talking about, along with like what was on Spider-Man. I have no idea, but it sounded profound.
Very. My
Mhm.
takeaway message is I guess I don't go to the gym tomorrow. Don't have to.
Excuse for a cheat
Thank you,
day.
5-year-old. Yeah,
Yes.
he said so.
Yeah.
Okay, so you interned at NASA, you worked with crash dummies. How in the world did TTRPG Kids come to be? Like, was there a
Yeah.
correlation between those things, or was it always just something brewing in the background?
So the TTRPG stuff kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. Um, so I was like, went through college and everything like that, do my engineering career, um, you know, had a kid, and then and like I had played one tabletop RPG, like it was a one shot in my
Hmm.
like mid 20s. And because it was like the end of a little mini campaign, I was just in for like the last episode.
Right.
It just ended and I was like, okay, what's next? And they're like, well, it kind of ended. And I was like, oh, okay. And kind of forgot about it a little bit. Had my kid uh while I was on maternity leave. My brother was like, "Oh, you should check out this show called Critical Role." I, stick the headphones on, listen to it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's the thing!" Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Critical Role is like the gateway for a lot of people into tabletop RPGs.
That
Um,
was mine.
and
That was totally
so
my gateway.
yeah, yeah. So that was about when I started getting into it, and then um, the whole COVID shutdown thing happened, and yeah, working at home and everything like that, I started seeing some posts about people playing tabletop RPGs with their kids. I'm like at home with my kid, the daycares are all shut down, like we're all trapped in the house together. I'm like, I might as well start trying this. It was a lot of fun. And then people are just kind of like, yeah, you should like tell people about it, or like seeing people asking questions. And as I'm trying to look stuff up, lots of people are asking questions and not getting tips and advice, or it was like very uh everyone was like debating on it. It was getting a little like touchy in some of the chats that I had seen, or some people were giving advice that nobody really seemed to be able to find when they were doing searches, and so on. So I was like, a few people had mentioned things about blogs and stuff, and honestly, it was I had trouble sleeping last like one night, and just kind of like, oh, I should do this, and like organized how I wanted to do it all and made it. So that was that was kind of where it came from. It was a bit random, and then I kind of rolled with it, and it's been going for a couple years now. So
God.
yeah,
Well, thank you, Insomnia, for blessing us with
yeah,
TTRPGkids.com.
yes,
And speaking of the website, if you use command kids, it'll take you straight to Steph's website, TTRPGkids.com, where you can find all kinds of amazing resources to bring tabletops to your kids and your family. So I love that we both had the same gateway to D&D,
yeah,
which Critical
yeah,
Role. Because the first time I listened to an episode, my friends, I think I was even part of FGBG. It was early on, but I
yeah,
really hadn't had an opportunity to do D&D or any sort of tabletop growing up. It just never like crossed paths in my life,
yeah,
which is really weird
yeah.
because I'm into theater. I love gaming, but I came into it like really late, even later than you did.
Mhm.
So I listened to like a one shot of Critical Role, and I had a completely different idea of what D&D was versus what it actually is, which is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
make believe with your friends. And I'm like,
yeah,
holy poop. I love this.
right. Yeah, and it was like what got me was like uh, total honesty. Maternity leave, I was having a hard time dealing with it.
Hmm.
There's like some like a bit of an element of like isolation and stuff that was kind of happening, and like some other stuff. And it was just like listening to people having fun, being nice to each other, laughing. and just like sitting around having a good time was like this healing experience. And I was just got
Wow.
like so into it, and I was just started recommending it to other people, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we should play. Who's gonna GM?" And I'm like, "I'll do it," and like made up this whole homebrew world right off the bat and everything. Got like, way into like everything. So, I don't know. It was a wonderful gateway, and it was just we were just happy and laughing, and it just I don't know. It was very nice.
No, their
That's about,
vibes are so
yeah.
glorious. Like when you can't have a bad day and listen to Critical Role
Hmm.
or any TTRPG. Honestly, all these podcasts are just it's just the game itself is built on friendship. It's built on relationship. It's built
Yeah.
on storytelling. That even in those sad moments, I have such a hard time describing to anybody that doesn't play like what it's like and why they don't understand and why they should give it a shot. I can't put it into words. I'm not good at it.
Oh, I feel you. It's like it's one of those things where you have to try it out in order to see what it's like. Um, like you get a little bit of it from listening to it, and can kind of
Yeah,
like it's like reading a book. Like you can kind of understand it, but then like you have to go do the thing in order to like feel it. So
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
So then you jumped right in with your first homebrew. That's brave, big and brave.
yeah,
Can you give me like a quick
yeah.
rundown of what your campaign was about?
Oh gosh, it was I had it where the group was going around finding these special items. So each person had a special item, and it would sometimes level up with them as they completed key things in their personal quest.
Nice.
So to encourage them to actually go like pursue personal plot lines and like kind of reward them for it. Um, and there was oh gosh, it was to like stop this big cataclysm. There was this guy messing with like dimensional portals and stuff like that, and like trying to pull stuff in. There's a little dimension hopping kind of stuff going on. Um, my brother was in the campaign. I gave him the opportunity to find a laser sword, and I was setting him up for like a
Nice.
lightsaber fight with a
Star Wars dreams coming
competing.
true.
Yeah, exactly. There's another dragonborn paladin that had a laser sword, so they could kind of duke it out. I just tried to put
Yeah.
like a bunch of fun stuff in that was like really personal to each character. Um, and there's like a steampunky kind of zone. There was like a very like high fantasy kind of zone. I had a fun time kind of messing with everything with it. So yeah,
Dude, Steph, as your first campaign, that sounds like God tier GMing. You just were instantly
it
good
was
at it?
no. So the world building, I think I had the player situation. Definitely like needed some work. When I started, I didn't realize that you should probably cap it out at maybe like 5 players, especially for your first time. And so we had a huge group of players. There was a lot
How
of people
many?
who were new to it. Um, it was like I think we had like 7, and then I would do like I would let people come in to like for a few. So there was like one session I had like 8 or 9 people, and like it was just like the action economy was all over the place. Took
Oh
forever to
my
get through fights. I
gosh.
didn't realize what was going on with that. There was like um some stuff going on between like a couple players and a few other things. So we ended up ending the campaign early. Um, Not in like the best situation, uh, but like it was kind of where it needed to end, I think, and
Yeah.
then started up with like some of the other players. Um, and that campaign, like that new one that we had started, actually just ended a few weeks ago. That went on for a couple years,
Oh
so
wow.
that one was a lot of fun. So, and I've done stuff where I've like run short campaigns to teach people how to play and stuff like that, and that's gone well. But like the first time was definitely not perfect. I had a lot of fun building the world up, and like players seem to enjoy like the personal story elements, but there's also
Mm-hmm.
like a huge learning curve with a lot of the background stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah. But that's all part of it. It's like how you learn, it's how you
yeah,
play. And I love the fact that a
Exactly.
lot of them were first-time players, because then you guys got to experience it together. And there is
Hmm.
no greater joy than watching somebody find joy in like D&D or any sort of TTRPG.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one where it was what was it? I think it was 20 sessions because I had them level up every session was like kind of the agreement that
Wow.
we had for this to like walk them through, and it was crash course in how to play Dungeons and Dragons. And so I was the GM, and I had one of my like veteran players coming in and playing like a very interesting character that was set up particularly to lead the others. And then we
Good.
had four
Good.
players who were totally new um, come in, and it was just to show them how to play the game and what it was all about, and it was so much fun. Like seeing it like kind of spark, or like a shy player like start to like participate more was so amazing. Especially
Yes.
at the end. Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And I was just like so happy watching this person find joy in it. And then they came back for another campaign and I was like, yes, I've got them hooked. So it was yeah, it's awesome.
So you found the love of playing these games, and obviously you wanted to share that with your family,
Hmm.
but you went 1,000 steps further, and you immediately just took on this task of being the place where people are coming to find all the resources they need to bring it into their families.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, why is that such an important work for you? Like, why not just selfishly keep these things for your family?
I felt that it was important. So it was something that was important to my kid and me. And I saw a lot of people asking about it. And it just felt like it was something that needed to be shared, and like I wanted to do it. I like there's a lot of stuff in my life that I was kind of like planning out for like logical reasons. Like,
Hmm.
engineering career and things like that. Um, and just like this felt significant, and I wanted to do it. So I did. And it's been one of the most like rewarding things that I've done. Uh, I don't know. It's hard to explain what it kind of feels like and why I did it. I kind of
Yeah.
don't even know why I did it still sometimes. Um, but like I enjoy it, so I'm doing it. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the only explanation you need. You enjoy it, so you do it. And I love that you you know my favorite thing about the fact that you came into D&D, I guess later in life. A lot of people that I've run into, they've started playing it when they were kids or at least young teenagers. But people like you and me who came into it so late, sometimes it's easy to feel like, oh, well, I really don't have a voice, or I shouldn't have a voice in this space because I'm not a veteran. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I love that you didn't let that mindset, even if it did pop up, keep you from this. Did you run into that mindset? Did you run
Yeah,
into that
that
feeling
definitely
ever?
did pop up quite a few times because yeah, yes, like it's pretty constant because I'm like seeing people who have been running or gotten into tabletop RPGs when they were kids and then took that passion
Hmm.
with them through the rest of their life, and they're doing amazing things. And this is something that like as an adult, it's like it hits on that inner child kind of
It
situation, and
does.
I wish I had had this when I was a kid because I feel like it would
Yeah.
have been very impactful to me. I didn't have it, and I think that it's still okay because I eventually found it and I let it help me, and I'm using it to help my kid, and I'm kind of like looking at it as I haven't been in this space for quite as long as some other people, but I can understand what it's like to not have this, so I understand how important it is to make sure that other people find it as early as possible.
There it is.
So that's kind of
There it
what
is.
I tell myself is like the yeah, yeah. The like the push or the how I get past like there's that imposter syndrome kind of sits in the background there. So yeah.
It's claimed too many of us, and that's like one of the things that is a staple of this channel is there's too many people that love something that feel like they're not allowed to like lean into it as loudly as they want to, or even enjoy it because they aren't allowed to, or maybe it's not like widely accepted. But geek out loud and you will find your tribe. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard, you have found a tribe by creating a space for people to come to. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, TTRPGkids won the 2023 Ennies Award? How did that happen? And what is the Ennies for those who don't know?
Yeah. So the Ennies situation was a wild ride. So yeah. So it was so I submitted it because somebody had been like, you should submit this to it, and even if you don't win or like get nominated or whatever, just like put it out there and see what happens. And I was like, okay, and like sitting there with my finger hovering over the button, I just like eventually like just hit the send button. I was like, whatever, and then didn't really worry about it or think about it. And then all of a sudden, like the announcement came up, and somebody, like, I found out about it because somebody tagged me on Twitter and was like, congrats, you've been nominated, blah, blah, blah. I'm so happy to see this. And I was like, wait, what? And then I went and checked the thing and I was like, oh my gosh. And like, I like for a full 10 minutes, I didn't know what to do. Essentially, I was just kind of looking at it. I'm like, what just happened here? And then I was like, okay. And so, I started posting it and I was like, hey, asked a few people, I was like, can you help spread the word? Just we'll see what happens, and worst case scenario, like I don't get it. I've still like people have seen the site and like it's all free. They can just kind of use it, and I'm like, it'll help some people.
Right.
And so I was like, get the word out, and hopefully this helps more people find the resources. And the community behind TTRPGkids went at it with full force, and they were like retweeting it, quote retweeting it, putting it in newsletters, and just it kind of like I started to see how many people it had impacted, because I had been reviewing people's games, interviewing people, like highlighting them, showcasing them on the site because they were doing cool work, and it was just all of a sudden all of those people jumped in and were like, oh yeah, like we're gonna boost you, like support you, put it out there, and like reciprocated. And I was like, what's going on? And I'm still like a little bit in shock sometimes if I think about it, because I was not expecting that. And then when I went to the award ceremony, because we had a family vacation, we're doing a road trip during that time, so we kind of rerouted the road trip to end at the ceremony. I was like, I'm gonna go. Like
you have to go.
It's a once in a lifetime thing. And so I know. So I went in person, and I'm sitting there and I'm like nervous at the table, like my leg is bouncing all over the place and everything like that. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the first category they announced is mine. And
what category was it?
So I got in silver. They have the silver announced first, and then they announced the gold. So my category was announced first. I got silver, best online content.
Okay.
And so because of that, I had to give the first acceptance speech of like the night in this like giant building full of like 1,000 people, or
oh my god,
like 1,000 people.
Did you have something prepared?
Yeah, that was. I had like written out something on a note card, and I just to like be like, okay, I guess like this is what people typically say in a speech, and so I was like going in with that. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. And then I got up there and like totally forgot everything I had on my card and just kind of winged it. But yeah, it was that was that was an experience. And I am
sounds very well deserved.
Like they just rallied. Yeah, it was. I I'm still amazed at how much people got behind it. So yeah, it was a good
And that's
feeling.
the cool thing about your website is like you're putting this stuff out there. You're constantly doing this work, and I'm sure at times you have no idea who it's impacting until something like that happens, and then it shines a light on all that you've done and
Yeah.
continue to do and the impact that it's having. That's amazing for you. I'm
Mhm.
so thrilled for you.
Yeah, I that was it was very eye-opening. Like, oh gosh. Yeah. So like sometimes I would get like one or two like people kind of messaging like, "Hey, I used your game in my class," and they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
cool," and like we'd chit chat or like someone would send a picture of like their family playing the game, and I was like, "Ah, oh my gosh," or like someone would ask for advice. So I knew that there was like that was going on, but then um, it was just I kind of realized there was a lot of people that maybe um were using it and then not like sending messages.
Yeah,
Like
probably
just because
majorly,
like, you
right?
don't think about it. Right. And then I was just like, oh my gosh. And like that imposter syndrome like shot through the roof for
Yeah.
quite a while there. And I've been like, it's okay. Like it's helping people. It's good. So yeah.
So let's get specific. Um, I've got a kid. I'm into TTRPGs. I want to get my kid into art TTRPGs. What am I going to your site to find?
Okay. So the site has game recommendations. It's got tips and tricks about how to run games at your home. I've got resources for teachers, including reviews on educational tabletop RPGs. And there's a whole bunch of interviews with people who are making games, using them in their classrooms. Um, there's resources for libraries, like there's book lists for books that are about kids playing tabletop RPGs. So not a tabletop RPG, but it's like a chapter book that
Oh,
revolves around
okay.
it, so you can kind of get kids interested into it. Um,
Yeah.
there's right now there's over 400 articles on the site. So there's a D&D for kids list. There's indie tabletop RPG for kids list. There's where to find resources at other sites. There's little mini podcast segments that I've been doing with Foodology and a few other like bits and pieces that are out there. There's some of my own games that I've been making. So it's kind of a organized smattering of different things.
But it's
So
organized.
yeah,
I was looking through it over the last week, and I love the way that it's organized. Like honestly, every time I was like, "Ooh, I wonder if they have." Oh,
awesome.
yep, there it
I'm
is. There's a
glad you're able
list.
to. Yeah,
I'm
I like
definitely
lists. Lists,
like I
Excel
told
sheets,
you
everything
before.
in the background is Excel sheets.
Yeah, like I told you before, I'm
Yeah.
connected to the school, and I am taking this site to my school tomorrow, and I'm gonna send it to the teachers. I'm like, hey, if anybody's into these things, or if you have a kid, or if you want to find ways to bring them into the classroom, because our school is all about
Mhm.
making lessons tangible and what's the word? Tactile. There it is.
Yeah, Echo. Yeah,
Um, and so this aligns perfectly with our goals.
yeah.
So
I
I'm sure that you've seen a lot of benefits.
Yeah. So when I was doing the adjunct professor stuff,
Hmm.
I actually used a lot of TTRPG elements in my class where I had students like taking notes in class as if they were their like this engineering persona that they created on day one. And it's a lot easier to say my engineer learned this instead of saying I learned this. And
Huh.
like took a few tricks from that into the
Yeah.
classroom. Um, and I didn't make the classroom a game, but I took a lot of the elements and kind of ported them over, and it helped so much. Um, and then I've also seen other teachers, and like there's some interviews on there about how they make the classroom into a game and will actually play like Dungeons and Dragons through Beowulf to teach about what it was like in that time and get kids like interacting
Cool.
with it and doing research in order to create their character. Because like they have to make it like historically accurate in order to play in the game and stuff like that. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with it. So especially like in the classroom. So I've done it personally. I've seen other people do it. So yeah, it helps a lot with schools. So yeah.
And that's interesting because like all night and leading up to this discussion, when we think TTRPG kids, I'm thinking little ones, young ones. But you just brought up a great point that it's for any age. Like it could be in any classroom setting, whether it's college, high school, elementary school, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
What are the benefits
and like
that you've
if
seen?
any person too, because benefits. Okay, so benefits, it ranges, and it's the way that I always like to do this is I will compare the benefits I've seen with my 5-year-old with the benefits that I've seen with the college class that I taught, because it's essentially the same thing. It is like spun a little bit differently, but it's still there. So with my kid, I've seen a lot of social emotional benefits where he has learned how to communicate better, how to self-regulate better. Like we'll have a character get upset and he's got to walk them through like, oh, we're going to do some deep breathing stuff, or like talk to them and like talking about his problems. It's gotten him to face a lot of challenges that he maybe didn't want to in real life, and it's given him confidence and boosted his creativity. When he's faced with a problem, he essentially goes through like a little mini problem solving process that we've worked on in our games,
Right.
and is able to handle situations a lot better. In my college class, a lot of the same stuff happens. I have used like if you look at the engineering problem solving process, you're practicing it every time you go to like plan out a heist for a dragon's hoard, where you're looking at what's the problem, let's gather information, let's figure out a plan based on our strengths. Out of these 5 ideas, which one is the most feasible? Let's go test it out and see how robust the plan is. And if that doesn't work, we're going to circle back around and try one of the other ones. But we know that might be a little bit harder. Like that's the engineering design process. So
right.
Using a lot of this, like with older kids too, and with adults, like it just kind of, you're practicing these skills. You are learning to communicate better with each other at the table. You're building those social emotional skills still as an adult. Like all of us have like that inner kid that wants to have fun and play. And sometimes there's like parts of that inner kid that are kind of locked up a little bit. And it's a way to give them an outlet to figure their stuff out. So you see a lot of the same stuff, whether they're a really young kid or they're an older kid or even an adult, kind of playing out at the table. But the biggest things have been that social emotional growth, and then working through the problem solving aspects of it have been 2 of the biggest ones that I've seen in every single group that I have played with, or use them with, whether it's for education or for fun. So.
And honestly, it's that problem solving aspect that, like, forgive me if I'm starting to sound like an old man, but I'm like, these kids today, they're lacking. Like, they face one small issue and they're like, well, what do I do now? Like, well, I maybe think through it. Like, this doesn't work. So then what should you try? And I'm thrilled to find that there's something they can gamify that process. And then they can gain those problem solving skills. That's what the world needs right now, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah. And like a lot of the opportunities to try out those problem solving skills get taken away from kids, I think, because like adults do it because this is safer, this is more efficient. Whereas if you let the kid do it, like they get the chance to make mistakes and things like that and kind of figure it out. And I know like that was how I was when I was a kid. Like there was a lot of things that I probably could have done, but then it was like easier for the adult to do it. Whereas with this, that kid is playing a character who is facing dragons and trying to solve world issues, or trying to, if you're doing kind of a space kind of theme thing, they're flying a spaceship and managing a crew and given that like responsibility in the game to figure it out. So they build up all these other life skills, things like money management. Like,
yeah,
a lot of kids don't manage money at least not on a large scale. But with this, you're looking
Never
at
had to.
budgeting. What are you putting towards potions, armor? Are you going to get the ray gun? Are you going to get the spaceship modification? Are you going to get the new bike with the faster upgrade? Are you going to spend your skill points over here? Like, there's so many decisions you have to make that just kind of get taken away in real life. And like, it really helps so much to build those problem solving skills because you're actually giving them problems to solve. That's not just like on a worksheet.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I forget about the responsibility that we adults have in not allowing kids to fail forward. And so they never learn the endurance and the perseverance. But this is a safe space, and that's absolutely applicable easily into real life if they're given the opportunity to do so. Deep stuff. So, okay, if I'm a parent or a teacher and I'm trying to bring a TTRPG to my kids, are there certain aspects that you are looking for? Like if you had a bunch of TTRPGs in front of you, a bunch of rule books, are there certain things you're looking for to say, okay, this is maybe let's talk like grade school level. What sort of things are you looking for that level?
Yeah. So for that level, especially if it's a kid or like there's kids in the group that have never played a tabletop RPG before, what I'm looking for is a 1-page or less character sheet, very rules light mechanics that can be explained on a note card or a 1-page summary, and then like a solid set of safety tools that's built into the game, because those are like particularly important with kids. Just with saying like, here's the ground rules, these topics are off limit, and that especially when you start getting into the teen range, you gotta be really good on setting those boundaries. But even with younger kids, like it teaches consent and things like that, but then also like, we're not going to talk over people, we're not going to do this is the speaking block that we pass around when we're taking turns, or having some kind of systems established. And then other than that, having fun adventures that meet your goals. Those goals can be to have fun. They can be some applied element like that's geared towards like social emotional development, can be towards like an educational goal, but making sure that it's then like after that base, it is also like directed toward what goal you're trying to meet. So, but we're looking for kind of like rules light and everything. And then once you've gotten that established, if you want to move into like something a little more complex, you can have like other games kind of coming in. But specifically for classroom stuff, you want it to work for all players. If you're running specifically a like D&D or Pathfinder group, they're going to come in knowing that that's, it's going to be a bit more of a commitment, and you can kind of teach them that. But if you're looking at kind of like general use, rules light, having everything on 1 page, having any kind of aids for tracking things, like if there's item tokens, like tracking chips, stuff with check marks and bubbles that they can fill out, a well-designed character sheet. That's all like really important to making sure that it starts off in a good spot.
Yeah, because we all love, I mean, even the adults in us love minis. We love things that we can hold and play with. And so the more tactile, the more things that they can actually track and physically see is the better. Is that what I'm hearing? Hi, Farls.
Yes. Yeah.
So then you not only created this entire site that is a one-stop shop for anybody trying to bring TTRPGs to their kids, but you also thought, you know what? I'm going to throw some of my own into this mix. Because you've not only written your own TTRPG, but you also written an entire guide on how to find the particular RPG for your particular kid.
Yeah. So there is a guide that I just funded on Crowdfunder called Making a Tabletop RPG for Your Particular Kid. And it is about how to either make your own homebrew adventure or game that uses your particular kid's interest. So if they're into, let's say, Bluey and Spider-Man, how do you turn that into a game? And then
use sagas.
tweaking the mechanics. Exactly, like you can figure it out. And then you can also take existing adventures, like if you have a D&D module that you really like, or like Starfinder or something like that, and then seeing how to tweak the mechanics for that or elements of that to fit what your kid needs and what their level is. So it's all about making it specific to your kid, and then also involving them in the creation process. So getting them to answer questions about the world, getting them to answer questions about their character, breaking down your own assumptions about what the game should be and what it needs to be, and looking at like a few different perspectives you can take in order to kind of adjust it. So that's based on, people I've interviewed, so like their perspectives, my own perspectives and experience, trying to kind of bring everything into a digest-sized guide. Since the site is like 400 articles, this is a like 50 to 60 page guidebook, so condensed version.
So it takes all those great things you picked up from interviewing and talking to people over the last few years and just siphons it all into, again, another one-stop shop. You've already got Farrells.
Yeah,
He says,
yeah,
wait,
it's the one-stop shop of the one-stop shop.
He says, what is this? He's like, and it sounds like something my partner's library needs to take advantage of. Yes, Farrells.
So, libraries. I had a library donation tier in the campaign, so I do have copies bookmarked or earmarked for libraries. If you send me an email, like, we can talk about getting that for a library copy. So
there you go. I think Farrells has already gone to your website, subscribed, done all the things.
Nice.
Click more buttons, Farrells. Click all the buttons. And all the rest of you watching back or listening live, go to that site, click all the buttons, find out, because this deserves all the attention that it could get. And more Ennies, I think.
I don't know. That first one was I feel like, fun, wild, random chance.
2 would just do you right in.
Some ways, but like, yeah.
When's the voting begin for 2024?
I think I would like just die from the imposter syndrome.
So you've got the guide, but then you also created your own TTRPG.
Yeah. So I have a few of them. So on, like, for digital versions, I've got a whole bunch of different games. Like, a lot of them are geared at really young kids, and then I've kind of started branching out to kind of more all ages, like encompassing like the grown-ups in the family and the kids at the same time. And then there was one that I physically printed. It was called Baker's Charge, and it's a baking competition tabletop RPG that is based on the Great British Baking Show.
Nice.
So yeah, it was there was a game jam for a system that's intended to be like this very like kind of anime fight sort of thing where you like gain momentum as you go and it gets more and more epic. And I was like trying to think of how to tweak that into like a kid-friendly kind of spin. And we were watching Great British Baking Show, and my husband said something about like, oh yeah, that one guy like built up momentum and then he's gonna go for the next few rounds, and I was like, oh, that's it, we're doing a baking competition tabletop RPG. And so I took this like so you like build up momentum as you win round after round, and if you help other people, because they're like very wholesome on the show, you can also gain it that way. So
love that.
Yeah, it was yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
No, I love the rules that have co-op and helping your fellow players like baked in. Baked in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I found just playing the little bit of D&D and TTRPGs, sometimes that is like, because we're so competitive in nature, and I think maybe especially here in America, what we do, like it's always competitive, and sometimes we have to be shown that we all can win as long as we're working together. So good job on folding into your own TTRPGs.
Yeah. I'm all here for the baking puns. So.
And are all these free, or are we allowed to give you money?
So there's like, I try and keep the cost low so that way it's accessible. There's a lot of like community copies on some of them. So there's like, I think there's one that's Mystery Snacks that is a like kind of Scooby-Doo-ish kind of thing. I took a horror mechanic and turned it into a Scooby-Doo game. And then
Alec would
like
love that.
Energy Odes. Yeah. Energy Odes is like another one that's got like kind of a trading card kind of element to it. So like those I know have community copies on them. There's like one that's a pre-K social emotional learning curriculum that's got like 30 little adventures that you can play with pre-K kids. That one like has a cost, and the a la carte ones I think are like $2 a piece for the adventures and stuff like that. And I give copies to schools. So if there's a school that wants one, ask me and I will send you copies. So that's kind of the policy I run by is,
that's really
have
sweet
access
of you.
for schools, community copies out there and stuff. So
that even the ones that you're charging, they're still low cost. I mean, at least not low cost to you, but low cost to the consumer. And I love that you're trying to keep these things accessible for everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't want there to be like too much of a barrier to this. Like the whole point is to get more kids playing the games.
Right.
So like that's my main goal with this. So yeah.
So then, other than Baker's Charge and your guide, do you have any favorite TTRPGs for young kids right now that you would recommend?
Okay, so if you're looking to get into Dungeons and Dragons, there's two that I guess maybe like three that I would kind of bring up. So there's Little Bit Fierce is really good. It's a full rewrite of D&D 5e.
What?
That is made for young kids. Yeah, the creator DC Bradshaw put so much effort into this. It's amazing.
That's
they changed
cool.
all the words to be more accessible to children. Changed some of the spells that had kind of like some icky stuff in them, and like made them more like kid friendly. Wrote the creatures and stuff up so that way the stat blocks are a lot more manageable and easier to read. There's Fairies of the Mistglade. Has a tiered system that gradually introduces you to more and more elements of D&D as you kind of progress. So there's like, you start out with the version that's like kind of for 4-year-olds, and there's no dice rolling. You have like a set of like abilities that balance off everyone else, and then after that you move into, let's add some dice. Now let's add this. And then
that's cool.
Yeah, and then D&D Adventure Club is really cool. They
D&D Adventure Club.
Yeah, they have like a tiny little booklet that summarizes all the main rules, and that's all you need in order to play. It's like like 20 pages or something in a little like 5x5 by 8x5 booklet, and then every month they have a new adventure that like works with that. So it gets mailed to you. It's all physical copies, and like they're really cool. So that's kind of my D&D like pocket. And then for indie games, Stories RPG is amazing. And there's like a bunch of adventures like Starsworn and Giga City Guardians written for it. That's really cool. There's a creator, Lucky Newt, that has a whole bunch of all ages tabletop RPGs like on her itch.io, and they're all super accessible and like really low cost, so like everyone can kind of get to them. I could keep going on and on. I've looked at so many.
I'm sure you have.
I would just keep recommending them. There's like a little bit of a game that people sometimes play where they'll like tag me like, "Hey Steph, I need a game about like dinosaurs and princesses, because my two kids, one loves dinosaurs, one loves princesses. What can you get me?" And I'm like, I mean, there's literally a game called Dinosaur Princess, so I like send them.
Yeah.
Or like, right? They're like, "Oh, what kind of games do you have about cats?" And I'm like, here is a list of like well over a dozen good games about cats that I've played. And so like yeah, I'll go on for hours. I'm cutting myself off.
Just go to the
yeah.
site, people. Go to TTRPGkids.com. You can use Command Kids or go to the link below this video or podcast, and you can find the perfect TTRPG for you and your kid. This is weirdly making me want to have kids just so I can play games with them, but then my luck, they'd probably be into sports or something, and then I wouldn't know anything about it. But now I want to like host a game night with my nieces.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. I've heard so many people like, that's like the best way that they have bonded with their like nibblings is they have
Did you
like
say
a monthly
nibblings?
Yeah, like nieces and nephews. So it's like the like plural kind of thing. I heard that and I was like, oh, that's such a good way to like encompass.
I am never not calling my nieces
like,
my nibblings.
Yeah, like one word instead of two or instead of three words now.
Yeah.
So we're like they have a monthly game night with their nibblings. The parents get a night off to go out on like a date or something like that, and then the kids bond with their like aunt or uncle and have like this awesome like set of memories together and go through like these cool stories. It's a lot of fun.
I love that. I want to host a night right now.
Yeah, and all you gotta do is like make up a game. It doesn't have to be perfect. Order a pizza, get some ice cream. They will be very happy.
Yeah, it's playing games. What's not to love?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this is awesome. Seriously, I'm telling everybody I know about this resource that you've created because it deserves to be told, and I can already think about of a dozen people that would benefit from knowing this exists. Because it all started, you were in the same boat. You wanted to do something for your family, and you couldn't quite find the resources. And so I love that you created that space for not only people like you, but people all over the world that need this.
Yeah, that would make me really happy if more people started using it. So thank you.
Well, I'm on your side. I'm going to help you in that endeavor. And I hope all of you will help Steph as well. Spread the word about this. Word of mouth, I imagine, is probably your greatest form of advertising.
Yeah, that's a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I heard from my teacher who heard from like their friend about this, or it's like there's a dad starts a group with his daughter's friends and mentions it to one of the other dads, or like a mom decides to do it as like an after school program and mentions it to one of the other parents and is like, oh yeah, go like check this out. And like, so I've seen like the loop kind of come around. Like sometimes people contact me and they'll be like, oh yeah, it's like my aunt's sister's cousin's like neighbor or something like that,
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so like I don't know, it's so interesting like seeing how that happens, and word of mouth is like seriously what it is. Like just somebody mentioning something, and then like I can see when I like kind of nerd sniped somebody and they're like, oh, I like read like 5 of your articles and like what's going on here? Where do I start? Where do I go next? I'm like, okay, like go to this one and this one and this one, and they're like that'll kind of like answer your questions. And like I don't know, it's so much fun seeing that, like seeing people get excited about it. So yeah.
I imagine you're like the person in the chair, and like the superheroes are out there, but you're just like controlling everything behind the scenes, and you can see everybody's move. Yeah.
That's like what I did in high school. So I think so before we were talking about like kind of theater stuff, I was the sound and light crew kid. So I never went up on stage. I was happy sitting in the back behind the chair and like controlling the lights and things like that. And I'm okay with that with this. Like that's my comfy zone. So yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you for stepping out into the spotlight from time to time. And just like with the Ennies Awards, it's well deserved, and people need to see the face behind all the work that you're doing. And I hope that the appreciation continues to rain down upon you, and that more and more you are able to see firsthand the impact that you are making in this world through these little actions that you've put together.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Honestly, this has been so much fun. I was excited all day. I was working, but then I like got sidetracked and started working on prepping for the game that we're about to play. Stick around if you're into that, but I just got like so excited. I didn't want to work anymore. I just wanted to like skip to this moment and hang with you.
I appreciate that, and I've been excited about this all day too, because like I just love talking about this, and you mentioned the game, and I was like, yes, this sounds like so much fun.
Yes. So if you haven't already, hit Command Kids. Go to TTRPGkids.com. Find out the amazing thing. There's got to be a kid in your life. We all have a kid, whether it's yours, whether it's your nibblings, or whether you work with kids. Maybe you live near a library and you want to head up an after-school program. This has everything that you need to at least get you started in the right direction. And then if you have any follow-up questions, you know where to find Steph at TTRPGkids.com, or any of their socials are connected on that site as well. But we're going to play a game. Are you ready to play a game?
Oh yeah, 100%.
We're going to see how this goes. Because if you were here for the start of the stream, I kind of gave a little description on what we're playing. But since it's all about kids getting to really be part of the game, maybe they've heard these terms, maybe they've never heard these terms, but kids say the darndest things. So earlier today, I literally called my nibbling, my 7-year-old niece, and I either showed her a picture of classic D&D races, classes, monsters, or tried to explain some sort of attribute or skill, and she had to describe in her own words what it is. So this is a little bit of a telephone, as we're going to see if Steph can guess D&D term Kids Edition. Feel free to play in the chat. We'll see if you can guess it before Steph. Some of these are easier than others. Some of them make sense. Some of them don't make any sense at all. But it's in the mind of a child. And it's my favorite place to live. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
Okay. Hopefully I don't give anything away. So this first round, I believe, are classes. D&D classes. So that's your category. At least you know you're within that realm. Okay?
Okay.
First question. No, do this. Hold on. I gotta hide it. I lost my cue. Come over here. Come over here. Okay, now hide. Because I don't want you would be able to see anything yet. Okay. Now come back on. Come back on. Okay. First question. There we go. This is an evil person with a sword and sharp teeth. Looks like a guard guy. What D&D class is this?
Okay, I want to say it's like a vengeance paladin, or a warlock, are the two that I'm kind of bouncing between. I'm gonna say like vengeance paladin.
Okay. Oh, you're getting specific. You think my 7-year-old niece was was that deep?
No, evil person with a sword and sharp teeth. Guard guy. That's
Okay.
like that'd be my guess.
You locking in vengeance paladin?
Was it you gave the description and then I'm trying to guess her answer?
For this, I actually showed her, for all the classes, I showed her a picture.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So
I'm
all
gonna
that to do
say,
with the picture.
I'm gonna say vengeance paladin. That's what I'm going with.
All right, show me vengeance paladin.
Hey!
It was a paladin.
There we go.
She just thought he was an evil guy because of his race.
Yeah.
And the face that he's making.
Ah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so after this
Yep.
one, I said, oh, I see what she's focused on. I said, okay, Henley, for these next few questions, try to look at their clothes and tell me what kind of job you think they have. She's like, oh, okay. So we have Paladin. Good job. I'm going to keep score.
Okay. I got one.
It's you versus the
Got at least
chat.
1
So
point.
far,
I'm on the board.
Steph is winning. Okay, next question. A witch in all black with swords.
That sounds. So there's a particular type of bard that I like have in mind because one of my players has done a character like that before. But I'm thinking this is gonna be like a warlock. This sounds kind of warlocky. I'm
Okay,
locking in warlock.
you say warlock. Alec also
Mhm.
says warlock.
Yeah.
Okay. Show me warlock.
Rogue. Ah.
She's
Okay.
a rogue. Only because of the black cloak and
Yeah.
he's got like daggers.
Yeah.
But she thought it looked like a witch with swords.
Okay. Okay. I could see that.
Sorry, no points awarded. Alex says,
No.
I thought rogue, but you said warlock. All right, that's okay. That's okay. Next question. There's quite a lot. Like I talked to her for a little while and I was just rapid firing because I wasn't sure how quickly we'd get through. So we're gonna get through as many as we can.
Yeah.
Okay. She looked at this one and said wizard. Was she right or was she way off?
Oh gosh. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna trust her on this one and say wizard. We'll see. We'll see. I
Okay,
feel like
you
this
say
is a trick
wizard.
question.
Chat says wizard. I know. I was on the fence. I was like, do I include that one? Or is it too easy? Or is she
Too
7 and you shouldn't trust her?
Yeah, I know.
But in this case, wizard.
Yay, wizard. Okay, cool. Cool.
Now I realize it all has to do with the specific picture that I happened to find on Google in a moment and send her way.
Mhm.
But she thought the last one was a witch, and at least in this instance, she was right. So Steph and chat both get 1 point. Good job. Actually, and I'm gonna give Henley is gonna get a score too. So if she stumps you, she gets the point. So now she's
I like
she's
that.
up at 1, chat's at 1, and you're at 2, Steph.
Yeah.
Next, a water girl.
Okay.
It's a D&D class.
Yeah. Cause so like my mind jumps to druid or sorcerer.
Those are good guesses.
Yeah. I'm gonna say druid.
Druid, okay. Chat says cleric. Let's see. Were you on the right track? You were, but you went the wrong direction. Sorcerer.
Okay. Yeah.
Only because of her particular style of magic in the art.
Yep. Yep.
It's kind of giving some Korra vibes there. I like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like some Avatar: Last Airbender kind of going on. Yeah.
All right, Henny, you get one more. My sister is gonna watch back this episode, by the way, so she's gonna find out how her daughter did. All right, so now we're moving on from classes. These are more like common terminology, common terms that you might run into. They might be attributes. They might be certain sort of attacks or spells. So this one, I tried to describe her. I couldn't show her a picture of this. I just had to like read the rule and then without trying to put words in her mouth that she's just going to mirror. I tried to do it as best I could, but she thought escaping danger is a good word for this.
Okay, so spells are included?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's either the Expeditious Retreat spell or it is the Disengage action. I'm like bouncing between those right now. I'm gonna say Disengage action.
You say disengage. Chat has multiple answers. You gotta pick one.
Ooh, I like those.
But I'm hearing
Misty
Shroud
Step, I like
Shadows,
that one.
Dexterity, Misty Step. I will say that one of you are correct.
Okay.
With one of those 4 guesses between Disengage, Shroud
Okay.
Shadows, Dexterity, and Misty Step. But chat locked in Misty Step, and it's Dexterity.
That makes sense.
Just trying to explain what Dexterity is and like the kind of checks that you would use it for, and she thought escaping danger. I was like, okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
Henley is now in the lead, 3 to 2 to 1. All right, next term. How well their brain works.
Okay, so this is tricky because it could be intelligence or wisdom. Okay.
Depends where
I'm
wisdom
gonna
lies.
say it's I'm gonna say it's the intelligence check, like an intelligence check or like the intelligence stat.
Okay, you say intelligence. Chat says intelligence.
I also feel like it could be going towards wisdom. I'm locking in intelligence though.
Locking in.
Mm-hmm.
Show me intelligence.
Yay!
Good job. Good job. I will say in this round, there are some more obvious ones, and then there's some ones that make absolutely no sense. So you decide which is which. How you doing at home? Comment below with your score currently. Next, their makeup.
Charisma.
You think charisma? Why do you say charisma?
Just like this one's actually coming from my kid a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Because I've had to explain to him what the stat was when we were chasing down a boggle. And the boggle had was not great at talking to people. And so then at the end, he had the option of letting the boggle help out with one of the stands at the fair, and he had him help out at a makeup selling stand where they gave him a makeup before he could work there. And so, because we had been going through and like I accidentally said, oh yeah, there's like a place where you can get like, costume makeup and blah blah blah. And he's like, well, what's there? And so I was like explaining it. And so we had this whole discussion about like different makeup terms. And so then he was like, wanted the boggle to go work at the makeup stand. So that's where this one's coming from. I'm gonna say charisma because it was like related to the whole charisma discussion there.
Okay, you say charisma. Chat says charisma, and guess what? Henley said charisma too.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, similarly, I was trying to describe what charisma is, and I was like, well, I guess, like, how pretty they are, how much you would like them just based on, like, their vibe, like what they would look like and how they act. And so she said, their makeup,
Yeah.
Same, I love that these kids are all thinking the same way. All right, this is a bad surprise. What is she talking about?
Okay. Sneak attack? I'm thinking I'm going to say sneak attack here.
Okay. Solid guess. Why do you say sneak attack?
If I think about it too long. If I think about it too long, I'm going to come up with like a whole bunch of spells and everything.
Right. I tried to go like base level, like easy things.
Yeah.
I didn't
I'm thinking
pull out
sneak
any
attack, just
5th level spells or anything.
Yeah. I'm guessing sneak attack.
Alex says,
that's
what's the
something
thing where you fail a check? Or investigation fail, maybe. Yeah. Oh, like a perception fail, like you didn't see something coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say sneak attack.
That's another good
Chat
one.
says invest fail. You got it. Sneak attack.
Hey.
Good job. It's like you play D&D with children often or something.
Yeah. It's like I have to explain this stuff to my kid on a daily basis.
You've heard these. This is rigged.
I get stumped quite a bit though.
I'm sure. Like, talk about exercising creativity. Like, these kids ask what a word means. You're like, well, this is a new one. I have no idea how to explain this.
Yeah, it's like the internet meme where they like explain the or describe a snake as a danger noodle. Like I that comes up, like stuff like that comes up all the time, but with the weirdest things. So yeah. Okay, biker man.
Okay, so these are now D&D races. And again,
Okay.
they're I tried to go pretty common
Yeah.
base level race. Which one did she think is a biker man?
Okay. I mean I'm thinking orc. Like somebody dressed in like leather. Uh it's kind of like what I'm thinking here, or like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna lock in orc. There's a couple others
Orc?
that I'm thinking
Okay.
of, but yeah,
Okay.
or half
Alec
orc,
also
like
says
yeah,
orc.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Goblin
Grog for critical role.
orc.
That'd be another
Yeah,
one.
right?
Goliath. Yeah.
All right. Show me an orc. It's a
Dwarf.
dwarf.
I love
Full
it.
armor.
I love it.
Full armor. But I think just the beard and everything
Yeah, yeah.
got her thinking.
No,
Oh, he's got a helmet, I
actually
guess.
kind of makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I love it.
I think I've
love
seen
it.
this guy at a biker bar or two.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
What did my sister say? A Scottish. Oh, she had a good answer too, because she also doesn't play D&D. So this was kind of fun to hear her answers as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh no! Gosh, hang on. I gotta hide it again. I gotta find a better system for this. I always do this, but then if I click the wrong thing, then I lose my whole deal. Okay. Coming back. All right. Which race is considered a mean queen?
A mean queen. Oh, I love that
Mean queen.
description. Okay, so I'm thinking like a drow priestess, or that's kind of like first thing that pops in my head. That are like the Yuan-Ti. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with like the drow priestess, because I've seen like a couple pictures of like the, you know.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they're dark elves. They tend to look unhappy most of the time.
Yeah.
In the drawings, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, chat's going. You said a dwarven elf. What is a dwarven elf? Or a high elf? Okay,
I can see elf. Like a high elf with like a snooty expression. Like, that makes sense.
Okay. Show me elf or drow. Tiefling.
Tiefling. Ah, yes, I love it.
I think she got hooked in on the horns and just like saw as a crown.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's red, so I guess that must mean she's mean.
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, shame on you, Keynote, for not recognizing tiefling as a real word. Get with the times, brah. And with that, Henley officially takes the lead. She like, stumped you guys more.
Game, it underlines so many words.
Yeah, I bet. Like, learn. All right, next. A zombie mixed with a goblin. This isn't too far out there. Again, I stuck to the basics.
Okay, I'm inclined to say just goblin.
Okay. Could be. She doesn't recognize just the race itself. Could be a thing. You say goblin. Chess says troll.
I like. Yeah.
Goblin?
No.
Okay.
I love the chat. I'm locking in goblin for mine. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Goblin. How about an orc? She thought he was pretty ugly, I guess.
Oh, I love it.
She doesn't know.
Like, short. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But this is the kind of things you're going to have to deal with when playing TTRPGs with kids.
Yeah.
And again, with these pictures, you have no idea what the picture is that she was looking at.
Mhm.
But oh, I could have picked a better picture. So sorry. So sorry. Okay, this is a dragon mixed with an alien.
Oh no, no. Dragonborn. I'm gonna say Dragonborn.
Dragonborn? I mean, it's dragon is in her
There's
description at
like a
least.
few. I know that there's like, yeah. I think yeah. I'm gonna say Dragonborn.
Okay. It's a pretty solid guess. Because you're right. Yeah, it was all these extra little tendrils and like scaly beard things sticking off of them that she thought looked kind of alien-esque. Good job. That's an extra point for each of you. You're up to 5, Steph. Chat's up to 3. And
Yeah,
Henry's at 6.
that makes total sense.
Okay, what about an evil king because of his red eyes and cape? We know he's got red eyes. We know he's got a cape. That's it.
I think I'm getting a little bit of a delay on my side.
Probably.
I'd say maybe like this is a vampire.
Good guess. Good guess. Chat says red cap
I
gnome.
guess vampire on this one.
Let's see what it is. Here's your drow. Looks pretty much like a vampire.
Ooh. No. Yeah. There we go. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the end, the nibbling
Yeah.
won.
That makes sense. I can see why I should grab as an evil king.
Yeah. With 7, Henley, 5, Steph, 3, Chat. Better luck next time, guys. Steph, off stream, I want to read you some of these other ones we didn't get to, especially the monsters, because they'll make you laugh. But that TD is coming at us once again hard at the end of the stream here. So that's our sign to wrap this up and let all of you go on your merry way. And we're going to take this great energy to a great raid. Where are we going, y'all? Any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the chat. But Steph, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for being here.
This has been great. Thank you for having me on. It's been awesome chatting with you. Yeah, thank you. This has been awesome.
Once again, thank you for all that you're doing and continue to do for everyone in the TTRPG space, and especially those that are trying to pass this on to the next generation, hopefully earlier than you and I got the chance to get into it, because we've seen the benefits, we've experienced the joy, and it's only right that the kiddos get their turn at the table.
Yeah, 100%. I hope this helps. Like, it's a good thing to bring to your kids, and I hope that the resources can help you do that. So, and thank you again for having me on. This was awesome chatting with you, and thank you for helping me, share the site and all the resources there.
Of course, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep preaching the gospel of TTRPGkids from the mountaintops, and from my school, and from the too powerful position that I have within the communication systems, because I could blast that out to anybody in the school now. I'm drunk with power. But all of you, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great time. Stick around. We are taking our energy to Gnome Ann, who's playing Baldur's Gate 3, because we want to keep it in the D&D family. Why not? If you've enjoyed this, please tune in next week for a brand new Geek guest. On Wednesdays, T will be streaming, usually doing some painting, maybe playing some games, doing some chance just to rant about your week. And then check out YouTube or podcast on Saturday when a brand new episode of Cloudscape will be dropping. I've been having a great time. Tonight just really made me want to keep playing right now because of all the great discussion tonight. And I want to bring a kid into the campaign just to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But until next time, I am Bozer. Who are you?
I'm Steph from TTRPGkids.
And all of you just keep geeking out. Bye-bye.